The webinar today is on the Utility Content Hub. What we're going to be talking about, what's new since the last webinar. The last webinar we had was back in June. I plan to have at least 3 of the utility content webinars this year. We're always adding things, adding new things. And again, my name is Steve Kaufman. I'm down here. If you need to contact me, I'm here, but our other contacts are here as well. So we're going to be about 40 minutes today, just talking about new items with the utility content website. And of course, we're going to have questions and answers after the webinar. So those are sometimes the best parts of the webinar is the Q&A, but we'll go through with what is new first. Again, with all the webinars, we will be on the Spatial Business Systems YouTube website. So if you search for Spatial Business Systems on YouTube, you will find our website. Jack Hobson always wants me to get people to subscribe to it. So I put a little star here. Please subscribe to our website. He wants to see that. Okay. I'm going to my next page. I'm just going to talk a little bit of an introduction here. Since the last webinar, we've doubled the returning users for the site. So we're really happy with that, with the returning users and that they are using and downloading items. Our increased web page hits is really nice to see. I think we had, it looked like 15,000 hits in the month of August. So that when someone hits a website, it doesn't mean individual people. It just means how many times they've turned pages and gone through the site. So, but 15,000 is a decent number. We'd like to see that higher, but it is increasing. So this is all good news for us. We've doubled returning users and we have a lot more web page hits. What we also did, I looked through the data, and we're active throughout the world, and I like that as well. So USA, Canada, Chile. I never included Colombia. Colombia and Brazil we're getting hits from, so we have people in Colombia, specifically in Chile. Germany, of course, India, so a lot of hits in India. Australia is a very popular place for SBS and SDS, and of course, the United Kingdom. So we're really getting around. It's really nice to see those hits, but vast majority are USA. So since the last webinar in June, we've added 76 components and 7 configurable models. So we are increasing our content. We've also created a home screen carousel viewer. So we are changing the way it looks, the way it operates, and feedback from you guys is always good. So if you give us feedback, we can change, we can update, do whatever we need. So feedback is always good. We have a new details selection related to content from the category. I'll show this in a little while, but for us to get this working, we needed people online doing things and build up some statistics so that we can use the software to go further with it. So this was, we had this added, I'm being clumsy here. We added this some time ago, but we couldn't get it to show data until recently, until we had enough returning users and web page hits. We did further refinements with the search tools. I think they're far better than what we had in the past, and we can always make those better as well. So those are the key things I just want to point out in the beginning of the webinar. The next one I want to talk about is the new components added. So we've added, like I said, 76 components. I'm going to come down and minimize this. We're going to look at some of the components we've added. And some of these things are fairly simple items, but when you're looking for them and while you're building a station, it's a lot easier to have it ready for you to grab rather than you try and make it. So something like these couplings, they're easy to make, but they are added to it that we can download them as well. We also added some of the steel couplings, right? Rigid metal couplings. So we have these as well. We've also added height height adapters, standard height adapters. They're based on the Anderson sizes. So we have a number of these available as well. Further, we added some simple terminal, bolted terminals from Anderson. We've added these as well. There's a number of these here. Again, it's so nice to be able to grab something quickly that you know is there rather than try and model it yourself. I think we all know that. And lastly, we've added some ground clamps. So the ground clamps have been my I don't know, my pet peeve over time is that I need a different ground clamp for a certain size. It's so nice to be able to bring them in, so we've added these as well. These ground clamps are also adjustable in the bolt. The length of the bolt's adjustable, and the gap between the nut and the bottom platform here is adjustable as well. So they're really nice to have. So that's some of the items we've added. When we get into the configurators, let's go into the configurators we've added. So I'll come over here to the configurators. The center brake V-mount switch from Southern States has been updated. Right, this guy's been updated, so that's why it says a day ago, and that's by Southern States. We've also added several structures here as well. And these structures are really just base bus support. I need feedback. Give me feedback how useful they are to you. We envision these to be more like a preliminary work if you just need a structure for a piece of preliminary work. So if you come in any one of these, you can see the structure, and once it loads, we move it around, and you can see the changes that we can make. So if I got spacing of 68, it's going to update to that 68. So I'm able to come down here, change my bolt circle at the top. And what we plan to do is add more structures in this manner. Again, we're thinking preliminary work, layout work, whatever you need just to get something started. If we go through, we can adjust the base plates as well. It has an anchor bolt. If I come further into this, we're also including a drawing. And this drawing, the idea behind the drawing is just to give you some general dimensions available so that you see what when we have a dimension, you kind of see what it's related to, and it will help you size your item. So that's in the pull down here. So those who are not familiar with the configurators, we can download a configured item by step, 3D DWG. The Adventure DWG is just the same as the drawing PDF. They're the same idea, so it's just a layout. And you can also get a JPEG picture of whatever you're working on that you can view as well. So when we're setting this up, if you're not familiar, you can change your sizing. Here's the HSS change in size. And so on, we can work with that. So let's go back to the configurators. That's some of the configurators we have here. The Insulator Generator, some more work was added to this one. Some air handling, and I've included a sketch or a drawing in this one. In this one, I did a little different, just to see how it works out, and I can add it in here. We have an issue with parts and assemblies on how we can do drawings, but this is a drawing for a part. So this is working out quite well in the software now, and you can always minimize that as well. So we added some air handling in here. And of course, you can download that as a step file as well. There is a new substation design suite coming out, I think in the next 2 weeks, hopefully. And we made some betterments to the bolt circle mating tool, and it really works well now. And I'm just bringing that up because we mate with the bolt circle mating tool with this item here. So again, we have some changes to this one. an error was in the EVP surge arrestor. That was corrected as well. So as we're going through, when I get records showing that there's errors showing, we can go through and back and work on those. Kelby was nice enough to make several updates to the, well, create new configurators for a circuit breaker cabinet, dead tank circuit breaker, and the power transformer. So when we come into these, we have a lot of numbers to change. And what we're putting the dimensions based on is your standard transformer you would get from a company. So you get a standard transformer drawing. We look at the drawing, and these are the common dimensions we see in those. And this is related through experience. Kelby has great experience with working with the vendors, that he recognizes the common dimensions. So we have those common dimensions in here. What we've also done in here is added a simple drawing just to get started, just getting an idea of what you may need for those dimensions. There's a couple dimensions that are, to me, not straightforward. So we've added some dimensions in here to help guide what are those dimensions meaning. So you can print this as well and then come back and reference your transformer. So you can come back here and reference your space spacing, your bushing head height, and you can see we can control a fair amount of this transformer. So again, this can be a preliminary transformer, a transformer you lay in at the start, use it, or you can even go further with it and use it in your construction drawings because of the number of dimensions we have in here. So we'll go back. What we have again is the dead tank breaker. We have some dimensions in here as well. Same thing, it's from experience with knowing circuit breaker dead tank drawings from vendors and the common dimensions that can change. So we have that information in here, come in here, and then we come into the drawing, and there's some simple layout pictures of the common dimensions in here as well. So we're trying to help you out to identify the dimensions, because there is a lot of dimensions, but if you look at your common vendor drawing, you should be able to match up the dimensions, and then we have a further dimensional drawing to help you with that as well. I am getting some questions here. Okay, so we'll get into the search talk. Patrick, you had a question about the searching. We'll get into the searching. What about lightning arrestor in the configurator? Well, we can look for that. We can add that. I'll have that jotted down from the webinar. And very cool, nicely done. Yes, I really like some of the work we're doing. It's good stuff. Let's see, I believe this bus elbow was added. Let me check my list since the last one that we had. Height adapter, no, the height adapter was also added. So this height adapter was also added. There's not much to this, it's pretty simple, but being able to customize it to exactly what you need. You can change the size of the base plates and the webs. The information is here. I don't think there's a drawing for it because there's no real need for a drawing for it. And we have that in the information. I'm also including weight when I can. With the steel structures, there's weight being calculated, and that is an accurate weight. But again, when we do a weight in Venture, it's the weight with the finished product without welding and with the holes removed. So the weight of the holes are removed as well. So those are some of the updates with the configurators. We had tested a couple configurators. We have more in line to make. Kelby is making a lot of these fully configurable models. We'll also have a couple more structures as well. Again, feedback is great. Oh, Kelby says his arrestor configurator is ready now, so we just have to get it up on our platform. Okay, so the configurators you can all download as step files and use them and convert them into inventor files. If you're not using inventor, you can convert step into whatever platform you're using actually. The browse items in here, let's talk about the search tools. And oh, I missed something, I'm sorry. I wanted to mention of the configurators, the most popular configurator, let's go back, let's go look at the most popular configurator we have is Kelby's generic power transformer. That is the most popular. And often we get is the most popular is configured, oh, Southern States EV2. This one's another popular one. And I'm always surprised, but the other popular one is the simple Insulator Generator. I'm always surprised by that one, but that's always up in the top of pull downs. Okay, most popular height adapter. Okay, so we're going to get into the search tools, and let's get back into the home page. I'm going to come in the home page first. So when we're working in the home page and you're going, well, I don't know what ground clamps there are, or I don't know what PVC there is. So if I just type in PVC, right, it's going to give me a category. And then I can go down and I can look at that category of what is available in PVC, right? In our search tools now, we got load more, and we're identifying how many are there of more. So we have 39 more. So we found 49. We can keep loading and keep loading and keep loading. All right. So we're able to do that. So in the first page, in the home page, when we're searching for something, if you want to know damp, oh, there's a dampening. All right, so we can search for that. And this is, the idea is 6 items found. Where are those dampeners? That's odd. We should have dampeners showing up there. No, it should be just dampener. Okay, I have an error there. I'll have to correct that. If we look for other things, bronze, maybe we'll get something. Let's see what we get with fixed support elbow. Here, bus connector elbows. We should be able to find these as well. So we have the SEPCOR ones, and you just keep going down. So I want to point that out in the search tool. So when people are having problems searching and finding items, they don't know what's there. If you go to the home page, you should be able to find the general category and see what is available, and then you can refine your search in the browse page. So in the browse page here, what we've made some changes in here. If I'm searching for file name, I can search for file name and another information in here. So if I search for file name, here's station post. Well, maybe I want it for 23 kV. So if I type in 23 kV here, I can search for both those items, and it's going to come up 2 out of 2 found. So we're telling you that we found 2, and we are seeing it here. So we have further refined the searching as well. If I come into details of any of these, I've done my search, I'm looking at the details, and now I'm going, well, I don't really want this one. This isn't quite what I wanted. You know, there's something different with it. I can come down here, and we have, this is the related content from this category, from electrical insulator category. So we have a category, so that's from the first page we looked at, of being able to search, find a category that we like. Here we're coming and back referencing this back to what category we're looking for. So if you want to find all the insulators of that category, you can look in there, because not everything will be named the same. We can't control naming of all of our vendors. Then when I come back on here, I'm going to come back, I'll come back to my previous page. It remembers the search now. So in the past, when we went back, we'd lose the search. Here, it's remembering the search. So if I look up ASTI, this is what I commonly test with, it's for MPS, I can now search for 10 of 12 of 4-inch. If I can change that to 6-inch, I can search that as well. So our searching tools, are much more refined in here. Totals found, counters, 2 fields to search. So that's the key things that we've changed, we've updated, we've gone through. What I'd like to do is do a Q&A, get feedback from you guys, and I'm seeing I got a number of items up here. I'm going to pull out my page, and we'll review some of these questions or feedback. So someone's asking, Patrick is asking, what about a string of insulators in the configurator? A string of insulators, like for transformer, for transmission, I take it. Kelby is actually looking at that. I was talking to him about that. He is looking at a method there. A lightning arrestor, that's a good one. We don't have a lightning arrestor. I have when we record the webinar, I have these questions, so I will have that recorded there. Arrestor configurator is in process. That's what Kelby's working on. Let's see what the configurators. We have a surge arrestor. All right. Can the transformer configurator have weight and oil volume? I'm not sure if we want to add that without the specifics from the vendor. I think if we were to add weight and oil volume and we didn't have the vendor's drawing, I don't think we want to be liable for that responsibility if we're inaccurate. It would have to be directly from the vendor that we would rely on that. Patrick, damper is not the only one that this error happens with. Well, this is where we need the feedback. If you get the feedback, this damper did work not too long ago. So let's go see, yeah, was it GHJK? I think that is the damper items, vibration damper, details. Other damp, it's in that category. So I don't know why it's not picking up that category, because it knows it's in that category. So that's an issue with the search tools, and we have a record of that. If you know what other ones that happens, that would be good help to have. So we've added a number of configurators. We've added a number of parts. We will be adding more. We're trying to get more vendors involved as well. I think it's just expanding. We're getting more hits, more downloads. Any other questions that we need to come up with or bring up? Kelby, maybe mention the other configurator you're working on. You can throw that out. Kelby just went through a hurricane. I don't know if his system is working. Okay, so as we go along, we're adding more and more. If you guys have feedback, you got information for me to look at, I will look at it. All right, let's go back to my PDF. So give me to reach out to one of us, Jack or myself, for feedback. If you have an issue, I'd like to hear from it, and we can correct it. I couldn't unmute. Okay, I'm going to pull up Kelby in here. Kelby, can you, does your microphone work now? So we got circuit switcher he's working on, surge arrestor, strain insulator in progress.
Hey, Steve, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Kelby.
All right, so we have 3 of them currently in process. We're working on a candlestick style circuit switcher configurator. We have a surge arrestor, similar to the one that's up there, except the one that's currently on utility content. You select by voltage class. This one's going to be more similar to the transformer and the breakers in the fact that you put specific dimensions to build that one. And then the next configurator I'm going to start working on is a strain insulator. So just a normal polymer type strain insulator with the different end configurations to where you can adjust and get what you need. But those are the ones that are in the works.
That's excellent. Thanks, Kelby. So if you have any other questions, we can bring them up. I'm just want to go back. I'll just rehearse or review what we talked about, that we're adding work. We have added items. Our search screen is a lot better. Home carousel viewer, I didn't quite mention that. If I come home and we see the items up here, what's new, we can scroll through and see what's new in the last little while as well. All right. And again, I recommend you guys use the category one, find your category. If it's conduit, if I just look up, conduit, it's going to give me a list of items with conduit. And maybe there's the item that you want in here. And then you know what category you have or what title. You know, if you search file names or search description, we have those file names, and file name is here, description is here that we're searching. Okay. With that, we're going to end the webinar. I don't see any new questions. And we'll have another webinar later in this year. We are working on different things. We're working on an app for Inventor for people to be able to upload items to the utility content. And that idea is with vendors, to get vendors to be able to get their products up on their site. So we'll leave it at here. If you have any other questions. Okay. All right, so our webinar is done. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. I appreciate the questions, and email if you need to. And I'd like to hear some feedback. I'd like to know what other items that may not be searching correctly in the categories. I see a dampener there, and we'll go from there. Thank you all for coming out.